Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Tips and Tricks for Saturday, August 17, 2019. Actually, as I am recording this, it is Friday night because I have to work tomorrow morning. Boo. So, wanted to make sure we got a video up and out for you all within a reasonable time frame this weekend, so I'm going ahead and recording it here tonight. Since it's a Friday night, that means it's a cold beer night. Cheers, everyone. It has been quite an exciting week in the world of Las Vegas YouTube channels, of course highlighted by the fact that the inimitable Matt Bridger is in Las Vegas and bringing us his own special brand of entertainment. And so if you haven't been following Matt's vlog, please do so. It's been a lot of fun. Also some great videos from Hog and 2 Cent this week. You know, I could name more, but you can see them down below in the Friends of Vegas Tips and Tricks if you'd like to check them all out. Today we're going to talk about downtown Las Vegas. It's downtown Las Vegas tips and tricks, and this is part one because I know we're going to want to talk more than around 10 minutes. So we're going to cover part of this presentation tonight, and then we'll do part two next week. I hear a lot of people describe downtown Las Vegas as sort of old Vegas or the old strip. It was never really the old strip. And as we, see downtown Las Vegas today, it really only began to develop in its current form around the same time the Strip did in the 1940s. You see the El Cortez opening up in the early 1940s. In fact, Bugsy Siegel was involved with the El Cortez before he later went on to be so closely associated with the Flamingo, which, though it was not the first resort on what we call the Strip, was certainly the first sort of glitzy, glamorous sort of resort. But there is some truth to it in the sense that downtown Las Vegas is somewhat old school, though I think less so every day. And I'll explain that a little bit as we talk. To the tourist, most people think of downtown as consisting of Fremont Street and even the Fremont Street experience. After the rise of the Strip and Las Vegas as a major tourist destination in the 50s and 60s, the casinos downtown kind of suffered. They were always sort of a second-class citizen to places like the Flamingo or the Tropicana, the Riviera, the Sands, the Sahara, the Dunes, places like that that were much more prominent, sort of glitzier places. And as it got into the 1990s, the casino owners and some of the downtown boosters and the government there were trying to put together some kind of an attraction to compete with all of the free attractions that you saw on the Strip at that time. Because if you remember, or even if you don't remember, the 1990s were a time of massive development on the Las Vegas Strip. And some of that was associated with this idea of bringing sort of a different kind of tourist to Las Vegas, a family-oriented tourist destination, with places, after the opening of the Mirage, places like Treasure Island and Excalibur and Luxor and MGM Grand, which for a while had its own amusement park. So everybody seemed to have these free attractions and this sort of event sort of mentality. And so the canopy, which was put up over Fremont Street after the road itself was closed to automobile traffic, was designed to have massive sort of music videos on them in the evening to hopefully get some of that tourist traffic that was on the Strip to make its way downtown. It was somewhat successful, I think, in the sense that a lot of people did visit downtown because of it, but I don't think it was that successful in terms of bringing visitors to downtown who spent a lot of time and a lot of money and saw it as sort of the place they wanted to be when they came to Las Vegas. And I really don't think that was began to be the case until the last 10 years or so. And it had very little to do with the Fremont Street experience itself, though clearly that infrastructure of hotels, restaurants, casinos, and attractions helped sort of create the environment that has sparked the revival of downtown. But a lot of that revival has been really independent entrepreneurs and people who have opened interesting bars, restaurants, and shops, who have set up business in downtown Las Vegas. And certainly the Las Vegas city government, and let me be clear on this. We talk about Las Vegas as though the entire valley, the entire area, is one city. And in fact, most of it isn't a city at all. And the city of Las Vegas proper really is only the area sort of north of Sahara. And, you know, in that area. So it does not include most of what we call the Strip. So when we talk to the mayor of Las Vegas, they really have no jurisdiction over what's going on at Bellagio, for example. But, you know, we have seen, I think, a great deal of interest in downtown recently. And I know my interest in downtown has grown over the past decade as well. Because for a while, you know, outside of maybe the Golden Nugget, the hotels all were kind of run down. They were cheap, but they were kind of run down. The casinos weren't very pleasant to play in. There wasn't a lot to do. I mean, there was cheap food, and there still is fairly cheap food in downtown Las Vegas. And there still is fairly inexpensive gaming and fairly inexpensive rooms. But that gap between downtown and the Strip has narrowed as people have become more and more attracted to the downtown area. For most people who visit downtown, they think of Fremont Street and the Fremont Street experience as essentially, that's it. And, you know, there's a lot to do there in addition to the light show, in addition to gambling. You know, you have live bands performing. I mean, just the people watching on Fremont Street is something to behold. Maybe something you don't want to behold, but it's certainly a, I don't know, a freak show unlike anything outside of maybe Bourbon Street. That may be the best sort of analog to what Fremont Street is in Las Vegas. So, you know, I think we've seen a lot of improvements in the hotels. It's been a number of years now, but the Plaza closed and then reopened with much nicer rooms and a much more pleasant casino. You've seen the old deteriorating Las Vegas club completely demolished, and now you're seeing a brand new resort, which we should see in the next 18 months or so, called Circa, which should be spectacular. That's been masterminded by Derek Stevens, who also owns the Golden Gate and made an enormous number of improvements there, owns the D and has made a number of improvements there. In addition to the Golden Nugget, which has continued to be sort of the luxury flagship, most Strip-like property downtown. You've seen the Downtown Grand come up, which is a very nice hotel, nice pool. You've seen improvements at the El Cortez with the opening of the Cabana Suites. That's been quite a number of years ago, but now they're doing a complete remodel of the hotel towers as well. Four Queens has done renovations. Fremont's in the process of making some renovations and actually adding an additional hotel tower. There have been major changes at the Cal. So there have been a lot of the downtown properties, and Binion's recently reopened part of the hotel that's been closed there for like a decade as this Hotel Apache. We'll see how that goes. They're charging kind of a pretty penny for these smallish sort of old school rooms. But just as I kind of list some of those developments, you can see there's been a lot of improvements in the basic infrastructure. And there's been a lot more people living and working in the downtown area, which has led to tremendous growth along the Fremont East Corridor, which is out from underneath the canopy as you move towards El Cortez and further down Fremont Street, down to like Atomic Liquors, if any of you have been there, but including places like the Container Park. And again, there's a number of fun little bars and restaurants there that kind of are very different from the experience of Las Vegas that you get on the Strip, which is very sort of corporate and packaged. And these places are quirky and different. And I think that's, to me, is the appeal of downtown, is it's not doesn't just feel like a big tourist attraction. It feels like a place that people live and work and have businesses. And so they're fun places to check out and just enjoy in a very different way than you would enjoy spending time at the Bellagio or Mandalay Bay. So that's why I always recommend, even if people have gone to downtown years ago and just kind of written it off, I would recommend that people revisit the downtown area, because there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of improvements going on there, and it's not what it was a decade ago. And I think it will be very interesting to see the development of that area over the next decade, because I think the sky is the limit. That being said, based on the most recent statistics we've seen, as downtown has become more popular, guess what? The gambling isn't quite as good as it used to be. The casinos are taking a little bit more money. The room rates are inching up. You've got resort fees pretty much everywhere now except for the Four Queens. Hats off, Four Queens. Whereas, again, a decade ago, resort fees downtown were unheard of. So maybe the value is not quite as great as we've seen greater demand there, but clearly a lot more Vegas visitors are either spending time downtown or actually staying downtown. So there we go. We're going to talk more about downtown next week, but I'd be interested in your feedback. What you think about the downtown area. Have you spent time there? Do you like it? Is that your favorite place? Because some people that's where they go. They go downtown. Maybe they make a trip or two to the Strip, but downtown is where they stay and play. Is that you, or are you someone that's like, I don't want to go downtown? There's not the great pool parties and clubs and glitz and glamour that I can get on the Strip. I feel a little freaked out by all the odd people there. It's just not my thing. Let me know what you think. We are only about a month away from the Vegas Summit 2, which is September 17th at the Beer House in the park next to New York Hotel and Casino. If you're interested, hit me up in the comments below and I will give you some more information about that. More importantly, that means it's only about a month until my late summer, early fall trip to Las Vegas, which means more exciting Vegas footage for you. Anyways, always, I want to thank you all for just taking a few minutes of your week to spend it with me, the Mr. Rogers of Las Vegas. Well, that's what one of the commenters said. So I'll take that. And Las Vegas is kind of a neighborhood of make-believe. And so is YouTube. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Once again, have a great and lucky week. And we will see you soon.